What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lifin Podcast, where there's no filters, just the real. My name is Darion Powles, and I'm here with our special guest, Jussie Smollett, and
Kalia.
and today we're going to be asking Jussie Smollett a few questions. The first question is, why do you feel that it is important to give back to the organizations like BBF that serve the community, especially here in Chicago?
Oh, because, this is an organization that the work that BBF is doing, along with so many other organizations, the work that they're doing is overlooked by major corporations sometimes or by the government and places like that. So it's important for us as human beings, if we have the resources to give back and to give back to necessary organizations like BBF that does the work. Like when I'm walking around here, y'all, I have to take a second because I think that this is my last stop on the premises, but I have never seen anything like it. So to be able to see how you all are being nurtured and being cared for in a way that shows y'all how not just necessary your voices are, but how impactful your voices are, no matter how young you are. So it's just really important to give back to organizations, but particularly organizations that are for us, by us, and represent all that we are.
Thank you.
No, yeah, that's beautiful. So, what drew you to acting initially, and how has your relationship with it evolved over time?
Oh, that's a good question. I was a kid. I was a baby when I first got into it. I think I was like 4 years old, and we started like as baby models and kid commercials and things like that.
Yeah.
And then it grew to movies and television and music and all of that stuff. But how has it evolved is, I think what I know for sure now is the necessity of learning the business properly and learning the ownership side of it, to make sure that that's just my main message these days, is to hone your craft and really learn, but also in the process of that, really learn the business side of it, because ownership is so important. What I see you guys doing with this podcast, for instance, just making sure that it's by you all, and that there is a piece of everything that you do is ownership. It's fine to be hired by people. It's fine to do all those things. But when you're creating things, and especially in this day and age, there's no reason to just sit by and wait for someone else to come by and give you an opportunity. You can take that opportunity. That's why I'm so proud of watching all that y'all are doing here, because, from the music studio to seeing this to seeing what y'all are doing, like you got this is a legitimate setup, beyond legitimate. Like I've done plenty of podcasts. Y'all, the setup is not. It's not, so let's be clear. So just making sure that we're learning the business side of it, and we're not focused on the wrong things, the things that come with the territory of wanting to be an artist or wanting to be a public figure, whatever that may be, but also learning the business side of it, so that nobody can really take your life and just snatch it from under you, because, you can lose a job. We've all lost jobs, we've all lost gigs, but just make sure that you're not losing your career in the process. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because a job is something that somebody can give you and can take it away, but a career is something that they can't.
The value behind it.
Yeah, the value behind it.
You just stated that you started acting at a young age. What advice would you or could you offer to young people who are maybe starting like you, or who want to start like you as well?
Check your reasons at the door. AKA check your ego at the door, because there's going to be, there's a certain level that you have to understand, particularly as I won't say particularly as an actor, but as an actor, you have to really know who you are, because you're playing all of these different characters and you're playing all these different people, and you got to know that, number one, they're just pieces of who you are, but also, what are the reasons? I always want to ask, particularly young people, what's the reason that you want to get into acting? Because if it's to bring stories to life and tell stories of people that you care for their voices to be heard, that's a beautiful thing. And that's not the only reason that you would get into it. But there are other reasons why someone would get into it, like, oh, I want to be famous.
Yeah.
I want to be rich. I want to be all those things. First of all, you might not be rich by being an actor. You know, you might not be famous by being an actor, but the most important thing is that if you're going into it for those reasons, particularly going into it for the reason of being famous, you've already failed.
Yeah.
You know, so really learning the business, learning the art form, and respecting it as an art form, and not just thinking that it's something that you can just jump into, because even if you jump into it and you get a break and it's just, you know, zoom to the moon and it's amazing, you still should do the work. You should you know, do it so that you can last, so that you can have a long career where even in those peaks and valleys that are inevitable, you still will have something to hold on to, and that is your craft. That's your craft.
Yeah. You just spoke to us about like the importance of why you do the craft that you're doing. Can you explain to me what success looked like for you in the beginning of your career versus what it looks like for you now?
These are some of the best questions I have gotten. What is going on? You better go off. You know, in the beginning, well, ask that question one more time. Sorry.
I was like pointing to the fact that you said you were mentioning the importance of doing your craft for a better purpose and not for like the materialistic things. What would you say that success looked like for you in the beginning of your career versus what it looks like for you now? Has that shifted for you, or is it pretty consistent?
Sure. Success in the beginning of my career. I mean, the interesting thing is that I've had what I consider to be two separate kind of show business careers. One as a kid, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
And really took time to learn myself as a musician, learn myself as a recording artist, and then got back into it. So I feel like even though I got back into it and I had a history of things that I had done, I was never a famous child actor. I was a working child actor, and to me there was a big difference. You know, I didn't have the pressures that, you know, Lindsay Lohan or Macaulay Culkin or even that my little sister had. Because there was a point that I was out of it. But as an adult, I think that the idea of success was very different in the beginning of my career as a public figure, as an adult, versus now. I think that I don't think that I was ever focused on fame, because I don't think that we were just raised not to be. That was never, ever, ever the thing, especially because we were raised to be such private people. And we all know, like, the moment that you're in front of anywhere and you're a little bit known, like, your privacy is kind of out the window. Hold on to it for dear life.
Yeah.
But enjoy your anonymity if you have it, and enjoy your anonymity while you have it. Because once you don't have it, you don't have it. You know, and there are peaks to that, and there are perks to that, but there are also drawbacks. But yeah, how has my idea of success, I think that my idea of success has just been further grounded in the fact of ownership. I really do. I think that there are a lot of people out here that are super famous and are in really successful projects, but they don't even have enough to pay their rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that just seems unfair, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that you do something that you're making everyone else successful, but here you are from the outside looking in, you're very successful at your career, but you still don't have a way to support yourself. There's a certain thing where it's just like, we got to get out there and we got to create ourselves. We have to create with ourselves. We have to create for ourselves, and really not aiming for the most popular, not aiming to be around or work with the most popular person at the time, but instead pulling from the people that you actually know want to do the same thing as you. So if let's say that you're an actor or you're a director, and you know you have a friend that's a writer, or you have a friend that edits, or a friend that does lighting or makeup or hair, whatever it may be, pull everybody together and create something that's phenomenal. Don't sit there and wait for, you know, what we think as a society is the most successful person at the moment, because they got their own stuff going on. You know, so just create it. If you got a phone, that right there is a camera. Put that on 4K and shoot the heck out of your movie. You know, get some sound too, but you know, you get what I'm saying. But there's this sound right there. What's up? You know, like, you got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a few more questions for you, but for this question, we want to backtrack a little bit. Back in 2024, you directed, produced, and starred in the movie The Lost Holiday, which you also co-wrote as well. What was it like taking on so much responsibility for that project, And would you do it again?
It was hard as heck. Trying not to say other words because I'm with young people, but it was hard, but it was wonderful. You know, usually the hardest things that we put time into are very, very, you know, they pay off. And I was blessed because this was a film that's with Vivica A. Fox. And I called her up and I said, hey, like, I need you in order to do this film. And she said yes. We were able to raise the money because of that. And we just went full force. It's not easy I love directing. It's not easy to direct something that you're actually in. Because especially if it's independent, I started directing Empire. That was easier. It was hard, but it was easier because we had big budget. You know, there's playback. You can see what your performance looks like. But for this was an indie film. We didn't have it in the budget to just have playback where it's like I do the scene and then I get to watch it. It truly is it's a lesson in trusting yourself. So I think it's wonderful. I'll continue to do it, but I won't direct every single thing I'm in, and I won't because you know, I'll call one of y'all to come and direct because it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but it's a lesson in learning to trust yourself. Yeah. No,
that sounds really good. What would you say that your favorite thing in Chicago is so far? Like you being here. This is a beautiful city. Do you have anything that you would like to point out?
Chicago is one of my favorite places in the world. And Chicago, I don't know if y'all know this, but I lived in Chicago for 5 years. Chicago was my home. We shot Empire here in Chicago.
Wow.
So right there, CineSpace. So Chicago to me is the best place in the United States that I've been to because it's the perfect combo. It has everything that I love about New York and everything that I love about LA without the things that I don't like about New York and without the things that I don't like about LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not a fan of deep dish pizza.
Me neither.
I don't think anybody is.
I'm not. Like,
yeah.
What? Who wanna fight? I'm not a fan of deep dish pizza, but I love the food here. I love the people here. You know, obviously I've had some difficulty here in Chicago, but it doesn't change anything. That's different than anything. That's not the people. You know what I mean? The people of Chicago are the most beautiful, wonderful people that I know of. And they've been nothing but welcoming and loving. And so it would have to be the people, you know, coming and seeing the way. There's something about Chicago that believes in community in a way that I don't know that a lot of other like metropolitan cities really get.
Yeah.
I think that we're all so spread out and in our own world in LA. And LA is great, but you know, we're in our cars and you have to really search out for community. And I feel like here in Chicago, you just gotta look around and there's community. So Chicago will always be, you know, one of my homes.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like Chicago, and from someone that I'm from New York.
Okay.
Yeah, and the community here is definitely like really beautiful, especially the creative community.
It's and there are certain pockets of other places. You know what I mean? Like in New York, I lived in Harlem. When I moved from Chicago, I lived in Harlem for 4 years, and that's the place where, again, it felt you could feel the community.
Yeah.
But so there are pockets of places where you can go, but I feel like all of Chicago just feels like. And if you say you from Chicago, you say you lived in Chicago, you automatically are Chicago family. And I love that. I just love that. I love it. I love it. Where in New York you from?
I'm from Queens.
Okay. We're from Elmhurst, Queens. 54th Avenue. Yes. Right by Left Rack City. Yes.
That's
yes. Okay.
I'm from Jamaica.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Well, I thank you all for tuning in to the Lifin podcast where there's no filters, just the real. Today we had a special guest, Jussie Smollett, and our co-host,
Kalia.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.
True Star. Number one in youth media.